Hello everybody and welcome back to another video episode with Levon's voice.
What the hell was that? Was that your intro?
That was my Levon impression.
Welcome back to another episode of
the Knife Nuts YouTube.
Oh God. This is 5 Knives in 15 Minutes, episode 2. The Jakening.
Action.
So, you guys know the rules here. If you watched the last video, which I'm sure you did, I'm sorry it was terrible. We're recording this one literally immediately afterward, so hopefully it's a little better. But the roles have been reversed. Jake is sitting at the review table, and I have the power now. I'm the captain now. So now I'm going to hand you some weird knives, and you're going to give me your thoughts on them. Does that sound good, Jake?
It sounds fantastic. And hopefully you develop an accidental theme as well, like I did.
An accidental theme?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, here's
your theme became...
Here's your first knife.
Oh, super technical. I had a feeling you were going to go that way. So this is Levon's HEAdesigns. What is this one called again?
The Equilibrium.
Extreme Poon. I'm going to call it the Extreme Poon.
Poon Stream?
Yeah, because of that blade shape. So I think before I had any real thoughts on whether I like this knife or not, and his design and manufacturing, the very first thing you notice when someone hands you this knife, and I'm going to try to get it on camera. Before I even noticed how it looks, I think I'm getting that in there. There's so much weight reduction milling inside of this knife that it's deceiving. When you pick it up, you think it's going to weigh as much as a 4-inch.
As a frame lock,
4-inch frame lock.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't.
It's very airy.
It's really nicely done on the inside, but it's also machined on the outside with a really cool texture. So was this his, remind me if this was his first offering?
This was his first limited production knife. He had made, Sam,
Sam,
the owner of HEAdesigns, was a custom knife maker. He actually made, handmade versions of that knife. And I've, handled them. They're very similar, but they didn't get to the level of precision that he wanted to do with his knives. He's a CNC guy. He very much knows his way around 3D programming and stuff like that, and he's able to do some really amazing stuff. And I really respect him because he pushes the design limits. Similar to people like Elijah Isham and stuff like that, who really try to take things out of the box.
Mm-hmm. I think there was definitely a time, maybe 10 years ago, where this kind of extreme of a design might not have been completely welcome, but I think that this is one of the knives that made it possible, to kind of pave the way for all kinds of unique and fun designs.
This knife you can't get anymore, but the revised version, which has better proportions, you can get it in a bolster lock, a whole bunch of cool stuff. That's still available, I think. And they're around like $300 or something. I can't remember. Really cool knife. If you guys don't follow Sam, you should definitely check out some of his work. He's got a lot of cool stuff coming out this year. You ready for your next knife?
I'm ready for another knife.
Here you go.
Oh, our first hashtag gift blade, huh?
Our first. I don't know. This is semi-recent.
It's just the first gift blade from me.
To me.
To you, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So
what is it, Jake? This is a Steel Wheel Resident.
Which is a really bad name.
It is. It's a horrible name. We'll go with F15 then. One of the first knives in China D2 since the inception of the term China D2.
I don't know if this one is specifically China D2.
Well, it's
but it might be
Chinese knife in D2. But so this is one of my favorite types of construction. This is a titanium frame lock with absolutely no titanium or steel or anything on the show side. Just kind of making use of how stiff, rigid, and awesome carbon fiber is on its own, and that really brings the weight down.
It also has a thumb disc, which you don't see too often these days. I think what they were going for was just like a great, I hate to say this, but the perfect ETC,
Well, it has some of the quote-unquote perfect EDC features, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Deep carry. I mean, first off, the thing that you can't tell in video is it is very light.
Mm-hmm.
It's not offensive to the pocket. And the deep carry clip is always cool, and they certainly got the memo with having some color to pop, as people say.
I would say it's very Sebenza-esque. Would you say, Jake? Maybe not in action, although it is quite smooth. It runs on washers. It's not on bearings. It's very well tuned. I actually like that knife a lot.
Yeah, it's good. It's I think this came out before there were 100 like really fantastic budget options. But how much was this? They were like around $100.
I think maybe even a little less.
Yeah, I can't remember. I do remember buying this.
And you got that one from Kevin Cleary.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Kevin, how are you, buddy?
And oh, wow. Now it's tiger striped. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm ready for another knife.
You ready for your next knife? Oh, you're going to love this one.
I handed Levon a ZT, and now he handed me a ZT.
Well, a ZT that doesn't get a lot of love from me, but is actually a really cool knife.
This is one that I'll say gets less love than it deserves. My favorite thing about this is not even about the knife so much, but the fact that it's the continuation of the spirit of the 0200, which had this, I don't know if it's cool or just absurd, pivot hardware that's like a 10 millimeter
throwback hardware.
Yeah, throwback hardware.
It's like a nut.
Except underneath of this one, there are bearings and a snappy flipper action.
The most ridiculous liner lock of all time, I think.
The liner lock that should have been a frame lock, you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
But, this eventually, this is not the first. This is probably the second Les George collaboration. The little guy was the first one. I forgot what that one was called. But recently we got last year, the 0920, the Harpy, which I also have. That is an amazing knife. And this one was badass. I think we got this one last year during Black Friday. I think it was like $89 or something.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
How can you say no? Yeah, Les George's collaborations with ZT have been good. Better than many others. But so this is also, so while we're talking about all this great stuff, I'm going to say this is from the questionable era of S35VN from ZT, which is pretty much all of time, I think. But
that is a user too. Maybe we should actually put that.
I was going to say, so yeah, this is.
I do use
in your collection. There are a number of knives that I've sharpened and resharpened a number of times. This is not one of them, so I can't say if this is heat treated.
Right. I mean,
crappily.
No, you can't use your X-ray vision and tell me that that's not heat treated properly.
Let's see. Let's see if the camera can pick up
the hell with that. Put that down.
Grain. Let's snap it. Let's break it in half and
new knife.
Count its grains.
It's new knife time.
Okay. What am I going to give you? A lot of D10 on this thing, though. Dave would love.
Dave would love
D10 on that.
That one does have a serious D10.
Oh. Thanks, darling.
Yeah, I felt you needed a palate cleanser.
Yeah. So this iteration is not mine. This is Levon's Dragonfly in G10. Mine, which is one of the FRN handled ones in bright orange.
I have an FRN one too.
Easily one of my top 3 most carried knives.
I would
without
have to agree
question.
I think it's in my top 10 favorite knives of all time is the Spyderco Dragonfly.
All right, so here's my review of the Dragonfly. I'm not a huge fan of VG10. I think there are other steels that do a better job of being cheap and easy to sharpen, but Spyderco has been doing it for a long time, and they know how to do it. The G10 version of the Dragonfly is definitely noticeably heavier than the plastic-handled version.
I would say significantly pricier, too.
Yeah, and it's pricier. In my opinion, the FRN is the way to go with a Dragonfly, but that's all the negative stuff out of the way. The Dragonfly is easily one of the most usable, user-friendly, daily carryable knives I think ever made. There's no outfit that you can't sneak a Dragonfly into, including gym shorts or just tighty whities if you really want to go for it.
I picked that up from an Instagram guy too.
The ergos, so yes, there are small knives, and then there are small knives that don't that fit. Like, it just doesn't matter how big they are because they fit your hand. You can really choke up for detail work and tooling costs and needle bearing. Wire clip, one of my favorite clips of all time. Again, it's economical and it slides in and out of the pocket really easily. So
the wire clip works especially well on those smaller knives.
Yeah, good call, good knife, great knife all around. I don't think I have an official complaint
so far
about the Dragonfly at all.
I don't think I do.
I'm ready for another.
I think that would have been the only thing would be the steel.
And I should mention
There's tons of sprint runs of it too, though.
I don't like backlocks in general compared to most other locking mechanisms. But again, on this knife, it's
time for a new knife.
It just doesn't offend me.
So just to refute your gift blade, first gift blade claim.
Mr. Walter Wells. What state is he from? Quick.
I don't remember. Wyoming.
It's like Kentucky or something.
Walter Wells from Wyoming. I just thought I'd throw in some alliteration. That's alliteration, right?
So a couple years ago, so one of our favorite things to do is finding excuses to buy people knives. There was some excuse for me to buy Levon a knife.
There was a Christmas gift, I believe.
So yeah, the mighty Christmas gift. So I had discovered this maker on Blade Forums, I want to say, whose work it looked really good. It looked a little bit unique, and the prices were reasonable, and he was making everything completely by hand. Even the milled parts of this knife are manual milled.
You chose the materials and everything.
Yeah, so I contacted him. This is one of those complete builds, start to finish. I contacted him. I asked him what his availability was like, and what materials he had available. He was really easy to work with, so we went ahead with this build. It is 20 CV.
20 CV.
And really, yeah. I'm going to dare say, before 20 CV was as popular as it is.
This was several years ago. 20 CV was not in wide circulation.
And neither was the front flipper feature.
Yeah, that was the front flipper thing was starting to gain some traction, and Jake had known a lot. Can you not front flip this thing?
I can't.
You did it. But I love that knife. I carry it often.
The marble carbon fiber, the purple inlays, because purple is like Levon's thing, and then it's also a nested titanium liner lock. So again, this is going to come across on camera, but it weighs nothing. His grinds are good. They're thin behind the edge. I think you can even see how thin this grind is just by looking at the secondary bevel, how just petite it is, because there is, I don't know, that's got to be like 25
I might have to also add that blade shape is as perfect as a blade shape can get, I think. That like
very
old school
friendly
clip
yeah
point.
So he offered like a sod buster kind of shape, and I asked him to make something half traditional and half contemporary, and
he's also a really sweet dude, really nice guy. He's on Instagram.
Wells
Bladeworks, I think. Yeah.
Also gaining a little bit in popularity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think this particular knife even got him a little bit of business, so that's awesome. So the last thing I'll mention is, since I was speccing this build my way, this is one of my absolute favorite
profiles.
Not profile, but sort of design characteristics, where the blade is treated before the grind. So that the grind kind of just reveals the,
It also, he tumbled, he acid washed the blank before he ground it. So you have just that nice transition there between the flat and the bevel.
It's a very handmade knife. There's no question about that.
I love how you asked him to bronze the hardware too.
Yeah, why not?
But Jake, what I would like you to do now is just give us an assessment of the 5 knives that are in front of you.
Well, for review and our little collections, I think you picked 5 good ones. Nothing.
Well, I have to admit,
here is unobtainable.
It's everything that. Well, yeah,
which is cool.
That is cool. These are all things that you can get still. Maybe we didn't mention a lot of that stuff in the last, because I think some of the stuff in the video we did prior. Good luck. I don't think you're going to find any of that stuff. Stop doing that. It's 5 knives in 15 minutes. All right, guys. Ready for the next one? I hope you are, because you're going to get another one.
Thanks.